Well, welcome everybody as you are joining us here in the beautiful Fiji. I say Bula. Actually, we're not quite there yet. This is just, of course, a virtual screen. But today's topic in this particular video is to bring in one of our very loyal clients over the years and business partners, Simon Derrick-Roberts from BNI, Adelaide, CBD, and I think South. Is that still the
Correct.
case?
Yes.
That's it.
Yep.
Oh, welcome, Simon. It's been not too long ago that we spoke already, but hey, you've been very kind to come in and just share a little bit about you in terms of why you as a business owner, why you decided to come to what we call the Edge Retreat for entrepreneurs, creators, and legacy builders. Over to you, Simon.
So there's a couple of elements for me as someone who delivers training, facilitates, presents, etc. It's always great to see. So I get like this inception version of stuff within stuff within stuff, because I actually also get to look at the way that you present and hold the attention of a room and facilitate, and I can actually implement trainer tips based on my observations of you. So I get a bonus that may not apply to all of your clients coming on this trip. You know, I've been largely operational for 10 years now in my role, whereas my first year was much more BD focused. And as you know, your timing was fantastic because I'm moving back into a more business development focused role as of July 1. And this is in mid-July in the school holidays, right? So the timing could not be better in terms of I need to sharpen the saw, because while I have continued to do some sales, both one-on-one and one-to-many over the 10-year journey, it was much more intense in that first 12 to 18 months, and it's been much more about account management and operations and support. And with all that changing, just this perfect opportunity to revitalize myself. Plus the market's moved on. You know, the stuff that resonated 10 years ago, well before chat GPT was even, a twinkle in someone's eye. Marketing sales has absolutely progressed. And so I need to also be, and you're a guy who stays on top of everything with your psychological background, etc. You're always at the cutting edge of what the marketplace, what's resonating with the marketplace. So it's just that the stars have aligned, the universe has said, I must be there.
That's so good. That's so good. And yes, we've done quite a bit over the years in multiple ways and so on and so forth. I like how you as a business owner, just keep really thinking like, if you want to grow, you got to grow your sales. You got to get more clients in. You got to increase your average deal size per client. You really keep thinking of that all the time. And kudos to you, by the way, Simon. Quick shout out to you. I know that over the years, you've been a highly recognized franchisee within the system. Done phenomenally well. You've built, really something big out of nothing, and where people really question whether it would work in Adelaide. You have been doing it, you're still doing it, and you continue to grow, which is great. Tell us a little bit more in terms of, let's say, business growth and how you can see that a 4-day retreat, like the one that we're doing for the second time now in Fiji this year, in July, end of the financial year, start of a new one. What are you hoping to get from those 4 days where you're going to sit down, not just with me, but also with a group of like-minded entrepreneurs?
Okay, so a couple of things. For me, the challenge with going on shorter format courses in the local environment is it's great. You spend a couple of days or a couple of hours, whatever it is, and then you just go back to what you did before. And maybe if you're really focused, you'll take away and implement one thing that'll actually have an impact. And even that can be enough to justify it. But the idea of actually going away from your work environment, being able to legitimately put all those autoresponders in place, allows that immersion will allow me to take more away and actually to be planning how to implement the learning. So that's always been my challenge when doing workshops from a variety of providers over the year, questioning, did I get the full value because I got stuck straight away? Like the next business hour after walking out of that course, I was back on the tools doing the doing, right? So there's that great opportunity. There is that peer learning, this exclusive group of people all there that have actually made, it's actually it's a very affordable package that you've set up, but that is going to create a barrier to entry. So people are going to take it seriously because they've spent a little bit of money to be in that room, more so than they would have spent to do the workshop locally because of all the travel and accommodation involved. So I like that as well, is that, that peer to peer collaboration and ideas and so forth, I think is going to be enhanced as opposed to doing something locally or on Zoom.
It is very easy to get distracted when you're in your normal environment, because as soon as you get off a call, a seminar, and you go back to normal, everything picks up again where you last left it, and you're all straight away thrown again in a deep end. So that is not very helpful. So that is exactly why we have decided on Fiji. We wanted to take it again across borders and really have an international experience with a different culture, different environment, but also be able to shut down these devices, because the place where we're going to be is not in Nadi or whatever that place is around there.
Yeah, Denarau. Not there. Denarau, that's it. Yeah.
So we wanted to avoid the really busyness of everything for us to really fully dive into, almost like the water behind me here, but really dive into it knee deep for 4 consecutive days. Now, one day is going to be a fun day, by the way. It's not just going to be, workshopping through and debates and robust discussions and the likes, and even you guys presenting to one another and challenge one another. But it's also going to be one day where we're just going to be on a boat, going off to an island, go explore the coral reef with our snorkels and so on and so forth, just having a full day of fun before we basically close the loop on everything and synthesize and workshop through, like, what is action step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the likes. It's not just going to be you, Simon, on this occasion. You already kind of mentioned it before we started, that your wife really got excited, about coming along. You're bringing your 2 kids along as well. Tell us a little bit more, like, what's in it for them as they're coming along to the Edge retreat in Fiji.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was a yes straight away, because for us, again, a bit of the universe, we'd been to Fiji once before, about 10 years ago, for a friend's wedding. We didn't have kids at the time, and we did notice how the families with, say, kids between roughly 5 and 10, they seem to get a lot of value out of that resort lifestyle, kids club, etc. And only sort of 7 to 10 days before you reached out to me, we had been discussing, hey, do you think the kids now 5 and 8, that's around the time we should be considering going to Fiji? And also, we haven't, because of COVID, we hadn't taken them overseas as a family since 2018, when my son was just under a year old. So they hadn't been overseas for quite some time. So for me, the way also, like, your package was already planned around having families. The accommodation package was already assuming 2 adults, 2 kids, and all the meals and the room. I didn't have to pay a premium to sort of upgrade. So that was really cool that you'd already identified who your avatar is. That if we're going to go to Fiji, we're probably going to want to bring our family, maybe extend the holiday a couple of days either side, which is what we're doing, and still get the benefit of a partial tax deduction. I'm not an accountant, so please check with your own accountant before you actually say that it is. But there's my disclaimer: general advice only. But that's also, it's a great opportunity to have a partially subsidized family holiday, because you are spending legit 4 days of however long you stay on business related stuff. So exactly. For me, it was a no-brainer. And just winding it a little back to the sales and what I'm hoping to get out of it, we're doing a lot of investment in marketing at the moment, because tools like ChatGPT, AI is disrupting everything, but you've still, at the end of the day, you've got to convert those marketing leads into sales, and people have to fall through the meat grinder or the funnel and pop out the other end. And ejections that I receive now are different to 10 years ago. So that ability to have, because I know that you always focus a lot in the work we've done in the past, is overcoming objections, right? And so for me, part of what I expect will be covered will be very timely with me going back into the sales role. And sorry, winding on, this is a very long-winded point, but I talked about the investment of this course. One thing I was discussing with some people just this morning, some people that I was coaching around objections they're facing in building a new BNI group, is around, it's not about going to the competitor. People choose inaction. They choose to do nothing. And that's something you've always talked about, is amplifying the pain. And the question for people considering this and the small investment to go away on this retreat with you is, it's not the cost of the retreat. If you say no, that's the easy decision. You're potentially costing yourself 6 figures or 7 figures in lost revenue, because you are not going to learn the tools and techniques to actually close more deals, right? My former employer, back when I first got started in BNI, I was in the IT industry, it was my first career. And he said, no one ever saved themselves rich. Now, funnily enough, he did end up going bankrupt, so he probably took it to an extreme. But that's always stuck with me. You've actually got to make an investment. You get more successful in business. Most of the successful business owners are out there not because they're necessarily the best at what they do, but they're best at marketing and selling what it is that they do.
Yeah.
Right. And so, the cost of inaction is going to be far higher than the financial investment of going along to something like this.
And that's a very valid thought that you planted there for all of us to hear, Simon. I appreciate that. Thank you. Sometimes people keep doing the same old, even though the world has moved on. Things have changed.
Yep.
Clients, expectations, software, technology, everything has changed. And if we keep doing the same old, and then expect to get better results, well, what are we doing? If where you're at is not really where you want to be, there's obviously a gap. Is this gap large enough for you to justify to do something different? And this is really what the Edge Retreat is, to give entrepreneurs and creators and legacy builders the edge over their competitors. Now, what that exactly consists of, we can happily talk about another time, but watch this space. Look for some really great growth, both personally, business speaking, and also financially, for people that are coming along to the Edge Retreat. It's going to be hosted from the 13th till the 18th of July in Fiji, Coral Coast. We got a 5-star resort that we booked in. Everything is basically looked after there. And should people want to hear more about it, let us know and we can have a chat. We do it basically in an application sort of way to ensure that the people that are coming are actually the right people. Because ultimately, it's not just what we share ultimately, it's also the people you meet and the people you get to know, but also who learns to know about you. Because ultimately, the connections in themselves have value. You might just be one connection away right now of somebody that can open up a door for you, or give you an idea, or challenge you in one particular way that just pivots everything for you for the better. And that exactly is extra value that is also baked into the Edge Retreat. Simon, is there any last thing you'd like to incentivize others with, that sometimes are like a bit hesitant, thinking like, I'm not sure if I should spend the money, or I'm not sure if I have the time? What would you say to them briefly?
All right. Well, guess what? Hands up if you're busy. We're all busy, right? What better way to leverage your time than hanging out with 10 people with the same drive and hunger and ambition as you, right? Because of that peer-to-peer learning that you just talked about, as well as the learning. Because I believe everyone coming on this, getting an invite to this and going through the application process is a past client. So you already have had a taste of Bram, but it's also about the other people. And it's about that leverage of time and that payback you're going to get for the time spent on the flights and in the immersion should pay you back many, many times over. And the final point is, you use the word different or difference a couple of times. And I think, and I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and reading a lot of blogs around how AI is disrupting marketing, but some of the people that have been in the marketing game for a while say, here's the thing. If we're all using ChatGPT to do our messaging moving forward, it's going to be a sea of sameness. And marketing, successful marketers have always been about carving out that point of difference. And so the marketing's kind of be the same. So you need to, I'd say now more than ever, your sales ability is going to be the point of difference, because of what is likely to happen based on what we've already seen over the last 6 weeks or so with the way the marketing is going. So if you want an edge, I didn't even know it was called the Edge when I signed up for this, by the way, Bram. So what a great sales pitch that is, or framing there, right? Yeah. So if you want an edge, you're going to need that point of difference, and that is really going to come down to your ability to talk with people, because that's what AI anytime soon is not going to replicate human to human voice, phone, Zoom, face-to-face contact, right? That's where you're going to stand out from the crowd, differentiate, and win more business.
Absolutely. Now, just in clarification, for everybody who is watching this still at this point in time, first of all, well done. And secondly, just as a disclaimer, sales is definitely part of it, but it's not the only thing. Marketing is definitely part of it, but it's also not the only thing. What we will be taking you through is basically a framework of 11 touch points and covering off all the bases where all of us workshop through all of it in terms of where we're at and where we should be and what's missing. So there's going to be a lot more. So if you're really looking for large growth, hyper growth, what we call exponential growth, the Edge is going to be the place to be. It's actually also kickstarting our mastermind group for people that want to upgrade to that one later, but it's not a necessity, as in a requirement. You can just come to the Edge and just leave it there and go back to, doing things on your own from there. But if you do like having a mastermind of people, obviously the Edge retreaters will be the first one to be allowed access to the mastermind to continue the application, to keep on challenging one another and keep building those relationships for mutual gain. In that sense, I'd like to again thank Simon for coming in. Awesome that you came along with us, and I look very much forward to spending 4 amazing days with you and your family in Fiji in July.
All right. Great. Looking forward to it too, Bram. Thank you.